Most of the time, reality behaves itself. Your keys stay where you left them, strangers don't know your name, and the world follows the same basic rules it did yesterday. But every so often, something happens that feels wrong. A detail that shouldn't exist. A person who knows too much. A moment that rewinds and plays again, slightly off, like a corrupted file. Tonight we're looking at 13 glitch in the matrix stories from Reddit. These aren't full-blown sci-fi plots. These are quick moments regular people still can't shake. Running into the same stranger in 3 different cities. Deja vu that lines up frame for frame. Lost objects reappearing in impossible places. And conversations that seem to come from a version of reality that isn't quite ours. Maybe these are just memory errors, pattern-seeking brains, and bad timing. Or maybe once in a while the simulation stutters. Turn the lights down, double-check that your door is locked, and try not to think too hard about how many things around you only exist because you expect them to. This is 13 Glitch in the Matrix stories. Let's begin. Story number 1. From user Creaky Footsteps. The skybox broke, and it's still broken.
It happened on a Tuesday afternoon. I was walking my dog, Buster, in our usual loop through the park. The sky was that perfect, clear blue you sometimes get in late summer. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. We were passing the old oak tree in the center of the park when I looked up, just absent-mindedly, and that's when I saw it. It was like someone had taken a chunk out of the sky. A perfect, jagged circle, maybe the size of a dinner plate if held at arm's length. Inside that circle there was nothing, just absolute, utter blackness. Not the black of night, but a deeper, emptier black, like a hole punched through reality itself. I froze, staring. Buster tugged on his leash, whining, but I couldn't look away. It was like looking into the void. It made my stomach churn with a primal, inexplicable fear. I blinked, thinking it was some kind of weird cloud formation or maybe something wrong with my eyes. But it was still there, that perfect, jagged black circle against the blue. I pulled out my phone to take a picture, but as soon as I pointed the camera at it, the black circle vanished from my screen. It was like my phone couldn't register it. I looked back up at the sky and it was still there, mocking me. I tried to point it out to an elderly couple walking by. "Do you see that?" I asked, pointing. They looked up, their faces blank. "See what, dear? Just a lovely blue sky." I felt a cold dread creep over me. Was I the only one seeing this? The rest of the walk was a blur. I kept looking up, and the black circle remained a constant, silent tear in the otherwise perfect sky. I rushed home and looked out my window. It was still there. I tried looking through binoculars. The edges of the blackness were sharp, defined. It wasn't a cloud, it wasn't anything natural. It's been 3 weeks now, 3 weeks of waking up and seeing that same jagged black circle in the sky. It moves with the sun, always in the same relative position. Sometimes it seems a little bigger, sometimes a little smaller, but it's always there. No one else I've talked to sees it. My girlfriend thinks I'm stressed. My doctor suggested I get more sleep. But I know what I'm seeing. The sky is broken. I've tried taking more pictures, but it never shows up. I've tried describing it to artists, hoping they could draw what I see, but their interpretations always come out wrong. They can't capture that sense of utter nothingness. The worst part is the feeling it evokes. A constant, low-level anxiety that something fundamental has shifted, that the reality I knew is no longer entirely intact. It's like living in a video game where the skybox has glitched out and no one else has noticed the hole in the world. I keep waiting for it to go away, for the sky to somehow repair itself. But it hasn't. And every day that it remains, that gnawing feeling of wrongness intensifies. Has anyone experienced something like this? A persistent glitch that only you can see? I'm starting to feel incredibly isolated and genuinely terrified that I'm losing my grip on reality. But I know what I see. The sky is broken and I don't know how to fix it. 3 weeks ago, a jagged black circle appeared in the sky, like a hole in reality. No one else can see it, and it hasn't gone away. I'm living with a permanently broken skybox, and it's driving me insane.
Story number 2, from user Hex Doorframe. I watched myself walk into my apartment, but I was already inside.
Okay, so I know the whole glitch in the Matrix thing gets thrown around a lot, usually for dumb stuff like seeing the same car twice or losing your keys and finding them in the fridge. This was not that. This was something else. This happened 2 months ago, and it's still messing with my head. It was a regular Tuesday. I got home from work around 6:15 p.m., just like always. I live in a 3rd-floor apartment in a quiet building, nothing fancy. I parked, grabbed my bag, took the stairs up. Everything was normal. I opened my door and immediately froze because I heard my TV on. I always turn it off before I leave. I'm borderline obsessive about that. But it was on, playing some late-night infomercial at full volume, like someone had been sitting there watching it. Weird, but not unexplainable. Maybe I bumped the remote on my way out or something. Then I walked into the living room and saw the front door open. I was already inside. So who opened it? I walked over slowly, half expecting a burglar or a drunk neighbor. But the hallway was empty. Then, as I was about to close it, I saw me walking up the stairs. Same clothes, same bag, same exhausted shuffle. I just stared. My mouth went dry. The other me didn't look up, just climbed the steps slowly, like it had done this exact thing a million times. I slammed the door shut and locked every bolt. I backed away, heart punching holes in my ribs. I didn't even look through the peephole. I couldn't. I didn't want to see what was out there. The TV switched off by itself. I didn't sleep that night. I barely breathed. Next morning, I checked the hallway camera footage. Each floor has one, maintained by the building. I asked the super if I could see it, told him I thought someone might have tried to get in. He pulled it up. 6:17 p.m. Clear shot of the hallway. No one comes up the stairs. No one walks down the hall. No one opens my door. But you can see it slowly creak open, then slam shut. I didn't tell him what I really saw. I don't even know what I saw. But I started locking the door the moment I get inside now. Not because I'm scared someone will break in, but because I'm afraid I'll open it and see myself standing there again. And this time, I'll be looking back.
Story number 3, from user 13th. Incantation. The repeating woman and the frozen coffee.
I was on my usual walk to my favorite coffee shop downtown here in State College. It's a pretty routine route. Down College Avenue, past the old main lawn, turn left on Allen Street. Nothing out of the ordinary. I was just passing the bookstore when I saw her. A woman, maybe in her late 20s, wearing a bright yellow raincoat. It wasn't raining, by the way, just a bit overcast. She was walking towards the bookstore, talking animatedly on her phone. Nothing particularly remarkable, right? Except I saw her again not even 10 seconds later. Same yellow raincoat, same animated phone conversation, same slightly hurried pace. It was like someone had hit the rewind button on reality. I blinked, thinking I was just seeing things, maybe someone who looked similar. But then I saw her again. This time, she was maybe 20 feet ahead of where I'd seen her the first time. Still walking towards the bookstore, still on the phone, same gestures. It was the exact same moment in her conversation, I swear. My brain started doing mental gymnastics. Maybe there were twins. But the way she moved, the specific cadence of her voice I briefly overheard, it felt identical. It was like a broken record of a person. I stopped dead on the sidewalk, staring. The third instance of the woman walked past me and into the bookstore. I stood there for a good minute trying to make sense of it. Was I hallucinating? Was there some weird performance art thing happening? Shaking it off as sleep deprivation, I continued to the coffee shop. I ordered my usual iced latte and went to sit at my regular table by the window. That's when things got even weirder. A few minutes later, a guy walked in, mid-30s, wearing a blue baseball cap and carrying a newspaper. He ordered a black coffee, paid, and then just stood there, right in front of the counter, staring straight ahead. The barista called his name twice, but he didn't react. He was completely still, like a statue. His newspaper was halfway unfolded, frozen in midair. The steam from his untouched coffee cup curled upwards and then just stopped. It hung there, suspended. It was like a photograph had been overlaid on reality. Everything around him, other customers, the barista moving to make another drink, was still in motion. But this guy, his coffee steam, even the dust motes in the air around him were completely frozen. I stared, my jaw practically on the floor. This wasn't a hallucination. Other people were glancing at him, looking confused. A few even nudged each other and whispered. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. The guy blinked, looked around in confusion, picked up his coffee, and walked to a table. The frozen steam dissipated. Everything went back to normal. I felt a cold dread wash over me. What the hell had I just witnessed? Two impossible things in the span of 15 minutes. I tried to play it cool, sipping my latte, but my hands were shaking. I pulled out my phone, wanting to see if anyone else had posted anything weird in the local subreddit. As I unlocked my phone, the screen flickered. And for a split second, the time displayed was exactly 1 minute behind the actual time. Then it snapped back to the correct time. I'm officially freaked out. Was this some kind of glitch in the Matrix? A tear in reality? Or am I seriously losing my mind? Has anyone else experienced anything this blatant? Repeating people? Frozen moments? I need to know I'm not alone in this weirdness. My iced latte suddenly feels very unsettling. TLDR. Saw the exact same woman walking down the street 3 times in quick succession. Then, at the coffee shop, witnessed a man and his coffee steam completely freeze in time before snapping back to normal. My phone also glitched with the time. Reality feels broken.
Story number 4 from user. Stained. Whisper. The recurring orange and the unfamiliar familiar.
This isn't a one-off thing. This has been happening sporadically for maybe 7 or 8 years now. It's always the same 2 types of glitches, and they always leave me feeling deeply uneasy. The orange glitch. This one is the most frequent. I'll be somewhere, at the grocery store, walking down the street, at someone's house, and I'll see an orange. Not a particularly special orange, just a regular, maybe slightly bruised, supermarket orange. But here's the thing. It will be in a place where it absolutely shouldn't be. Like perfectly balanced on the railing of a bridge, or sitting on top of a fire hydrant. Once, I saw one nestled in the middle of a bookshelf at a hardware store, surrounded by paint cans. It's always just one single orange, out of place, and seemingly untouched. The first few times it happened, I just shrugged it off as someone being weird. But it's happened dozens of times over the years. Different locations, different times, but always the same incongruous orange. It's never a different fruit, never a pair of oranges. Just that solitary, out of context citrus. The really unsettling part is the feeling I get when I see it. It's not just surprise, it's a deep, visceral sense that something is wrong, that the fabric of reality has momentarily frayed. It's like my brain knows that orange shouldn't be there on a fundamental level. The unfamiliar, familiar glitch. This one is rarer, but way more disturbing. It involves people. I'll be interacting with someone I know, a coworker, a friend, even a family member. And for a split second, their face will change. It's not a drastic transformation. It's more like a subtle shift in their features. Their eyes might be a slightly different color. The shape of their nose might be a little off, or their smile will have a subtly different curve. It's like seeing them through a slightly distorted lens, or like a very convincing imposter has momentarily taken their place. The change is always fleeting, lasting maybe a second or two, and then they're back to normal, and I'm left questioning my sanity. Did I really see that? Was it just a trick of the light? But the feeling that accompanies this is even worse than the orange. It's a profound sense of unease and disorientation. It makes me question who I'm really talking to, like the person I know has been briefly replaced by someone else. The worst instance of this was a few years ago when I was talking to my mum. For a split second, her eyes went from their usual warm brown to a startlingly cold, almost metallic grey. Her smile tightened in a way I'd never seen before. It was like looking at a very convincing mask. Then it was gone, and she was just my mum again, asking me about my day. I felt sick to my stomach for hours afterward. These two things, the random, out-of-place oranges and the momentary shifts in people's faces, have been recurring for years. They don't happen frequently, maybe once every few months, but they always leave me deeply unsettled. Is this happening to anyone else? Do you have these specific, recurring glitches that just feel wrong? I need to know I'm not the only one whose reality seems to be skipping or misrendering the same weird details over and over again. What the hell is going on? TLDR. For years, I've been experiencing two recurring glitches. Single, out-of-place oranges appearing in bizarre locations, and momentary, subtle shifts in the facial features of people I know. Both leave me with a deep sense of unease.
Story number 5 from user Ceiling Stain Prophet. 5 of us saw the same glitch at once. No one talks about it now.
This happened back in 2020, during that weird window where people were hanging out again, but still half feral from isolation. A group of us, me, my roommate Kyle, his girlfriend Lex, our neighbor Reggie, and this guy Chris from work, decided to go hiking up near Black Hollow Ridge. Nothing too extreme, just needed to get out of the house and into nature that didn't smell like takeout and anxiety. We started around noon, normal vibes. The trail cuts through a forest that's dense in that weird way, where sunlight still filters through, but everything feels damp and muffled. Halfway up, Kyle notices something weird. There's a tree about 20 feet off the trail that looks exactly like one we passed earlier. Like, exactly. Same branches, same twist in the bark, same snapped limb halfway up. We laugh. Forest looks the same everywhere, Reggie says. But then we see another one and another. We keep walking, joking about being in a video game loop, until Lex stops dead in her tracks and says, "Guys, the rapper." About 10 minutes earlier, she had dropped a Snickers wrapper by accident. Felt bad, but we didn't go back for it. Now it's here, at her feet, same tear pattern, same bit of chocolate stuck to the edge. She picks it up with this weird look on her face and doesn't say anything else. Kyle suggests we head back. None of us argues. Here's where it gets messed up. We turn around and start heading back down the trail. Everything feels slightly off, quieter, like the sound just thinned out. No birds, no wind, just the crunch of our boots and the weird, almost electric hum in the air. About 15 minutes down, we come across ourselves. Walking up the trail, same clothes, same formation. Kyle even had this blue bandana hanging from his back pocket. Other Kyle had it too. We all just froze. Both groups stopped. And then, like someone hit pause and unpause at the same time, the other us kept walking, heads down, not looking at us, expressionless. They didn't even blink. When they passed us, the air felt cold, like freezer cold. Lex started crying, not loud, just silent tears running down her face. We practically ran back to the car. Here's the kicker. We checked our phones. All of them said 4:11 p.m. Problem is, we started hiking at noon and barely walked for an hour tops. But the sun was already low, like it was near sunset. We don't talk about it anymore. Reggie moved away. Lex and Kyle broke up. Chris stopped showing up to work 2 weeks later, just ghosted everyone. Sometimes I dream about the other me, still walking up that trail, still not looking up.
Story number 6, from user buffering coincidence. Reality broke for 43 seconds, and I was the only one who noticed.
This happened 6 months ago. I know that sounds recent, but it feels like forever. Time's been weird ever since. I can't prove any of this happened, and I'm not here to convince you. I just need to say it before I lose what's left of my grip. I was in line at a local coffee shop. Super normal Thursday morning. People on laptops, baristas yelling orders, indie music humming through cheap speakers. I was scrolling Reddit, ironic I know, when everything just stopped. Like, everything. Baristas froze mid-pour. The guy in front of me had his mouth open mid-sneeze, just hanging there like someone hit pause on the world. The steam rising from coffee machines, suspended in mid-air like static smoke. Even the music cut off mid-chord. The lights didn't flicker. They just froze. At first I thought I had passed out, like maybe I was dreaming or having a stroke. I looked around, waiting for someone, anyone, to move. But they were all mannequins in a diorama of awkward humanity. Then my phone buzzed, just once. A single notification that read, "Error 014, frame collapse detected, restoring." No app name, no icon, no nothing. I stared at it, heart pounding so loud it felt like the only sound left in the world. And then, 43 seconds later, I counted, everything resumed. The guy in front sneezed, the barista finished the pour, the music picked up mid-strum like nothing ever happened. Everyone moved like puppets with cut strings reattached. But I knew something was wrong. The woman who had been standing behind me in line. Gone. Just not there. Not in the shop. Not outside. I asked the cashier if she remembered the lady in the red coat. She looked at me like I was crazy. "You've been standing here alone the whole time. she said. I went home and checked the security cam I'd set up in my living room. Had a break-in scare last year. I needed to ground myself, just see something normal. At 10:42 a.m., the exact time everything froze, I watched the footage glitch. The image warped like old VHS tape, colors bleeding out, timestamp flashing symbols instead of numbers. And then me, another me, walked into frame. Same clothes, same face, just not me. This version walked up to the camera, leaned in close and whispered, "You weren't supposed to see that." Then the feed went black for exactly 43 seconds. And resumed. I don't sleep much anymore. The clocks in my apartment sometimes skip minutes. People I swear I know act like they've never met me. And sometimes I think I hear static when I blink. If reality broke, I think I got stuck in the wrong version. And I don't think I'm alone.
Story number 7 from User Offsite Archive. The words are changing while I type this.
I've had minor glitches before. The occasional deja vu, a fleeting sense of something being slightly off. But this is different. This is persistent, and it's centered around this very post I'm trying to create. It started subtly. I'd type a word, look back at it a few seconds later, and one of the letters would be wrong. Not a typo I made, but a completely different letter. For example, I typed table and then saw taddle. I just assumed I was tired and making silly mistakes, but it keeps happening, and it's getting weirder. I just typed the word weird, and as my eyes scanned back over it, it flickered to wired for a split second before reverting to weird. It was like the word itself was momentarily unstable. Then there's the repetition. I keep typing sentences, and then a few lines later, the exact same sentence will appear again, seemingly out of nowhere. I just had to delete the phrase. I'm starting to feel like I'm going crazy for the third time. I didn't type it 3 times, and the formatting is going haywire. Paragraph breaks are appearing and disappearing randomly. Words are bolding themselves. Just now, the word bolden suddenly became italicized for a second. The worst part is the feeling I'm getting. It's like something is actively interfering with what I'm trying to say. Like there's a lag or distortion in the connection between my brain and the text on the screen. I just typed connection, and it briefly changed to convection. What the actual hell? I'm trying to keep track of what's happening, but it's making it incredibly difficult to form coherent thoughts. It's like my own words are betraying me. The cursor just jumped back 3 lines and inserted the word fear in the middle of a sentence I already finished. I didn't type that. I'm starting to feel genuinely creeped out. It's not just a visual glitch on the screen. It feels like something is influencing the text itself. I just typed influencing, and it became inflaming for a split second. This is insane. I'm going to try and keep typing to document as much as I can. But if this post suddenly becomes gibberish or disappears entirely, you'll know why. Something is seriously wrong. The title of this post just flickered to "The words are screaming" for a millisecond. I swear I saw it. Okay, I need to try and finish this quickly. The feeling of being watched has intensified, and the air in my room just got noticeably colder. I just typed colder, and it briefly showed older. This is not normal. This isn't just a computer bug. Something is happening. Something is interfering. If this post makes it through, please tell me if you've ever experienced anything like this. Words changing on their own. Repetitive text appearing out of nowhere. It feels like my reality is glitching in real time, specifically with this text. I just typed real time, and it flashed to nightmare. I'm hitting submit. I don't know what will happen to this post or to me. TLDR. While trying to write this Reddit post about a potential glitch in the Matrix, the words I'm typing are randomly changing, repeating, and the formatting is going haywire. It feels like something is actively interfering with the text, and I'm starting to get seriously freaked out.
Story number 8. From user Antique Teeth Drawer. I think the glitch took pieces of my life, and it's still taking more.
I don't even know where to start with this. I've gone over it 100 times, tried to convince myself it was stress or memory lapses or just me being off. But it's not. Something broke. And now it's like parts of my life are being edited out. It started with small stuff. A hoodie I loved disappeared. I thought I left it at a friend's house, but she swore she never saw it. Then my Spotify playlists vanished, every single one. Not just gone, but like they never existed. No history, no logins, nothing. Weird, but whatever. Then it got worse. One morning, I woke up and my dog I've had for 3 years, was gone. Food bowl's gone, toys gone, crate gone, like he was never here. I tore my apartment apart, called the vet. They had no record of him. My friends all said the same thing. You never had a dog. At first, I thought they were messing with me, but I showed them pictures, or at least I tried to. Every photo I remembered taking with him, gone, either deleted or replaced with completely different pictures, same timestamps, same locations. But he wasn't in any of them, just me, awkwardly posed next to empty couches or fields. Then I remembered the photo I'd printed and hung on my fridge, him in his Halloween costume. I ran to check it. It was a blank frame, not empty, still weight to it, still paper inside, but blank. As if someone had scrubbed him out of existence, pixel by pixel. I lost it. I mean full breakdown, sobbing on the kitchen floor. And then my phone buzzed. A calendar notification, meeting with Maya, 3 p.m. My stomach dropped. Maya was my girlfriend for almost 4 years. We broke up last year, badly. I opened my contacts. No Maya, text history, gone, Instagram, no mutual follows. My friends swear she never existed. But here's the thing. I still remember her laugh. I remember her perfume. I remember arguing in the car about that stupid podcast she loved. I remember her dad's weird obsession with bees. She was real. I know she was. And now she's just gone. Like the dog, like the playlists, like the life I used to have. I don't know how to stop it. I don't even know what it is. But I feel it happening again. This morning, I couldn't remember where I work. I sat in the parking lot staring at the building and felt nothing. No recognition, no instinct to go in. I called my boss to explain, and the number was disconnected. I checked my resume. There's no record of me ever being employed there. I think whatever this is, it's still unraveling me, taking pieces, rearranging the code. I don't know what I'll lose next, but I'm scared one day I'll look in the mirror and not know who I'm looking at.
Story number 9. From user Burned Page, The Unblinking Man in the Park.
It was a crisp autumn afternoon, the kind where the leaves are all shades of red and gold and the air smells like wood smoke. I was walking through Elmwood Park, enjoying the scenery and listening to a podcast. The park was fairly busy, families with kids, couples strolling, the usual. I passed a bench under a big maple tree where a man was sitting. He was unremarkable, mid-40s maybe, wearing a gray hoodie and jeans. He was just sitting there, staring straight ahead. I didn't think much of it at the time. A few minutes later, I completed my loop and was heading back the way I came. I passed the same bench, and the same man was still there. Same gray hoodie, same posture, same vacant stare straight ahead. Okay, a little odd, but maybe he was just lost in thought. But then I passed the bench again on my second loop, and he was still there, exactly the same. It was like someone had copy-pasted him onto the bench. That's when I started to pay attention. His hands were resting on his knees, perfectly still. His head was locked in that forward gaze. And here's the really unsettling part. I hadn't seen him blink. Not once in the 3 times I'd walked past him over maybe 10 minutes. I slowed down as I approached the bench the third time. The sounds of the park, kids laughing, birds chirping, seemed to fade. It was just me and this unmoving, unblinking man. I tried to get a better look at his eyes, but they were shadowed by the brim of an unseen cap. There was just this sense of emptiness radiating from him, like he wasn't really there. A shiver ran down my spine. This wasn't just someone spaced out. This felt wrong, like a character in a video game that had bugged out and was stuck in a single animation frame. I quickened my pace, trying to shake off the feeling. I told myself it was just my imagination, that I probably just hadn't noticed him blinking. But then, as I rounded a corner and looked back at the bench one last time, he was gone. Just gone. No one walking away from the bench, no one nearby who could have interacted with him. He had simply vanished. The normalcy of the park snapped back into focus. The sounds, the movement, everything felt real again. But that image of the unblinking man, frozen in time on that bench, is burned into my memory. To this day, whenever I go to Elmwood Park, I subconsciously glance at that bench. And every time, I get a little jolt of unease, wondering if I'll see him there again, stuck in his silent, unblinking loop. Has anyone else experienced something like this? A person who seemed out of sync with reality? It was brief, but the feeling of witnessing something fundamentally broken still creeps me out. TLDR, saw a man on a park bench who didn't move or blink in 3 separate passes over 10 minutes. When I look back a final time, he had vanished without explanation.
Story number 10 from user Saltline Basement. The world skipped like a broken record, and I think I was the only one who noticed.
This happened 2 weeks ago, but it feels like I've been carrying it for years. I can't shake the feeling that something cracked that day. Like I saw behind the curtain just for a second, and what I saw wasn't supposed to be seen. It was a normal morning. I was in the kitchen making toast. My cat, Jasper, was pawing at his food bowl like usual. Kettle was boiling, same routine, same rhythm. Then, everything hiccuped. That's the best way I can describe it. Like reality stuttered. You ever watch a scratched DVD and it loops the same second 3 or 4 times before skipping forward? It was like that, except it happened to the world. I dropped my butter knife, and as I bent to pick it up, I felt this strange wave, like pressure in the air had shifted. When I stood back up, Jasper was still pawing at his bowl. Still, exactly the same position, same sound, same look in his eyes. I blinked, and then it happened again. The kettle screamed, the toast popped up. Jasper pawed the bowl. Again, I looked at the clock. It read 7:48 a.m. I remember that because when it happened a third time, I looked again, and it still said 7:48 a.m. I ran to my phone, also 7:48. I watched it for 40 full seconds. It didn't move. Then, suddenly, it jumped to 7:49, and everything went back to normal. Jasper meowed. The kettle stopped. The birds outside started chirping again like someone hit play. The weirdest part? My toast was perfect, golden brown, which might not sound creepy until you realize I never pressed the lever. I'd just set the bread down before the glitch. But there it was. Done. And burnt on one edge was this black, almost printed-looking mark, like a smudge or a letter. I still have it in a Ziploc bag because I'm too scared to throw it out. It looks like a P, just a single perfect P. I tried asking people online, Reddit, Discord, even some fringe forums. No one had an answer, but one person messaged me anonymously and said, "If it repeats more than twice, leave your house immediately. You're in a dead script loop." I don't know what that means. I don't know why I'm scared to toast bread anymore. And sometimes, when things are just a little too quiet, I think I hear the kettle starting to boil again, even though I haven't plugged it in since.
Story number 11 from user Cash Corruption. Everyone thinks I lost my mind, but I remember the world before the change.
They say if enough people tell you you're crazy, you start to believe it. I haven't quite believed it yet, but I'm close, because what I experienced wasn't a dream, or a breakdown, or a misremembered detail. It was a shift. Something in reality glitched, hard, and I'm the only one who noticed. It started 3 months ago. I woke up to my alarm like any normal weekday. Got ready, made coffee, grabbed my keys, but the second I stepped outside my apartment, everything was wrong. The color of the door across the hall, different. The tree that used to be on the corner of my street, gone, like it had never existed. No stump, no roots, not even a patch of dirt. The old man who walks his bulldog every morning, never seen him again. I thought maybe I was just sleep deprived until I walked into work and said, "Morning, Angela," to the receptionist. She looked confused. "Who's Angela?" "You are," I wanted to say, but her nameplate said Michelle. Same face, same voice, different name. When I brought it up to my coworkers, they laughed and said I must have mixed her up with someone from another department. I started keeping a list in a notebook. Every change, every misremembered name, building, conversation. I even had a page with the logo of the company we work for. It changed one day. Slightly. No one noticed, except me. I mentioned it once during a team meeting. The room went silent. Then someone said, half joking, "You doing okay, man? You've been off lately." They staged an intervention, said I was losing time, said I was stressed, said maybe I needed to talk to someone. My girlfriend broke up with me 2 weeks later, said I was obsessed with proving the world was broken. But it is. I saw my childhood house on Zillow last night. The listing said it was built in 1998. I was born in 1991, and I have photos of me as a baby on that porch. Except when I check those photos again, same ones I've seen 1,000 times, the house looks different. Same angle, same smiles, different house. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what I slipped through. But every time I try to talk about it, people smile that polite, nervous smile you give to strangers muttering on the bus. I'm not crazy. I'm just in the wrong version. And no one else remembers the real one.
Story number 12 from user Moonlit Gravel Road. The broadcast glitched, and we all saw something we weren't supposed to.
This happened last year during the Super Bowl. Yeah, that many people saw it, but most of them have already convinced themselves it was a tech glitch, a weird ad, or some viral marketing stunt. But it wasn't, and I know that because I recorded it. I've watched the footage 100 times, and it still doesn't make sense. It happened during a commercial break in the third quarter. Just as the usual loud car commercial faded out, the screen glitched, like hard, analog-style static, which is weird in the streaming age. The picture broke apart into vertical bands and then froze. And that's when the feed cut to something else entirely. It was a room, sterile, white fluorescent lights overhead, but they buzzed wrong, like a frequency that made your skull itch. In the center of the room was a figure, thin, pale, wearing what looked like hospital scrubs, but the skin was too smooth. No hair, no face, just the suggestion of where features should be. It turned slowly, like it could see through the screen. There was no sound, no logo, no explanation. Just this caption centered in plain black font. "We see you seeing." It lasted for 6 seconds. Then the feed snapped back to the live game. No commentary, no reaction, just football like nothing had happened. My group of friends all stared at each other silent. Then someone muttered, "What the hell was that ad for?" Twitter exploded. Reddit too. People posted screenshots, recorded clips. Theories flew, leaked government feed, prank hack. But here's the thing. Within 24 hours, every video of the interruption was removed. Links broke, screenshots vanished from threads. Even DVR recordings skipped over it, like the footage was retroactively edited out. My video's the only one I found that still has it. I ripped it from a live capture device, straight to a hard drive. No cloud, no metadata. I watch it sometimes just to make sure I didn't hallucinate it. And here's the real kicker. The figure in the video, that faceless thing, I saw it again, 3 weeks later, at 2:13 a.m. standing in my backyard. No lights, no movement, just standing, watching, and even though it didn't have a face, I swear, it smiled.
Story number 13, from user Debug Reality. My roommate saw my dead grandmother in my mirror.
So Liam's been a bit off lately, stressed with exams and not sleeping well. Last night he came stumbling into the living room around 3 a.m., looking like he'd seen a ghost, pun maybe intended, but I'm genuinely unsettled. He was pale and kept muttering about the bathroom mirror. After I finally calmed him down enough to get a coherent story out, this is what he told me. He got up to use the bathroom. Our bathroom has a pretty big standard mirror above the sink. He said he was just washing his hands when he glanced up and saw my grandma standing behind him in the reflection. Now, my grandma passed away about 5 years ago. Liam met her a few times, so he definitely knew what she looked like. He described her perfectly, her slightly hunched posture, the way she always wore her hair in a tight bun, even the faded floral pattern of the dress she was usually wearing in old photos. He said she wasn't doing anything, just standing there in the reflection, looking back at him with this sad, almost pleading expression. He spun around, of course, but there was no one there, just the empty bathroom. He stared back at the mirror, and she was gone. The reflection was just him in the bathroom. Now here's where my skepticism kicks in. Liam has been seriously sleep deprived. He's been mainlining caffeine and pulling all-nighters. It sounds like a classic hallucination brought on by exhaustion, right? That's what I tried to tell him. I suggested he get some rest, drink some water, lay off the energy drinks. But he was adamant. He swore he saw her. He said the image was crystal clear, more real than his own reflection. But then he added something that made the hairs on my neck stand up. He said that as he was looking at her in the mirror, he had this overwhelming feeling that she was trying to tell him something, not with words but with her eyes. He said he felt a wave of sadness and longing coming from her reflection, and then he said he noticed something else in the reflection, something that wasn't in the actual bathroom, a small wooden rocking horse sitting in the corner just behind where her reflection was standing. We don't own a rocking horse. My grandma never owned a rocking horse that I know of. It was a detail that seemed completely out of place. Liam is usually a pretty rational guy, not prone to flights of fancy. He was genuinely shaken by this. He refused to go back into the bathroom last night and ended up crashing on the couch. This morning he's still pale and insists he wasn't dreaming. He keeps asking me if my grandma ever mentioned a rocking horse or had any connection to one that I didn't know about. I don't. So Reddit, what do I make of this? Is this just a sleep-deprived hallucination? Or did my roommate somehow witness something else? A glitch? A brief crossing of some kind? The detail about the rocking horse is what really gets me. Why that specific random object? It feels too specific to be a purely fabricated hallucination. I'm leaning towards telling him to get some sleep and see a doctor if it happens again, but a part of me can't shake this feeling of unease. What if he did see something? What if my grandma was trying to communicate something? And what's with the damn rocking horse? Help me out here. What do you guys think? Glitch or just a fried brain? TLDR, my sleep-deprived roommate claims he saw the reflection of my dead grandma in our bathroom mirror, looking sad. He also saw a rocking horse in the reflection that isn't actually in the bathroom. I don't know whether to believe him or chalk it up to exhaustion.
Let me tell you a story. And that was 13 glitch in the Matrix stories from people who are probably a lot less confident in reality than they used to be. Some of these can be blamed on bad memory, coincidence, or the brain doing lazy compression on your life so it doesn't crash from too many details. But the stories where objects teleport, time seems to skip, or you meet someone who remembers you from a day you never lived, those are harder to file under just my imagination? Maybe these are all harmless errors? Maybe they're hints that whatever we're living in isn't as stable as it looks. Or maybe they're the universe's way of reminding us we don't have admin access. If you've ever experienced a glitch in the Matrix yourself, drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who insists everything has a logical explanation, but still gets quiet when their own story doesn't. Thanks for watching. If anything feels a little off around you tonight, don't worry. It's probably just a rendering issue. Probably.